Welcome, truth seekers, time travelers to the present age. It is now February 18th, 2025. At this point in the timeline, Elon Musk has introduced the third variant of Grok, known as Grok 3. In some promotional material, Elon shares this as being the new Grok logo. It's a black hole, or if you see the logo not in motion, you may argue that it is Saturn. It claims to be a bit ahead of the current crop of available AI in terms of reasoning and time test compute abilities. Here's the initial logo Elon shared hours ago. Maximus Prime has made the comparison of the X logo to XRP and then comparing Grok to the Stellar logo. Stellar is a associated crypto to XRP, also United States based for each of these. Is this just a coincidence? Is there more to this? As I've shared with you in videos over the years, the prediction of the rise of Elon and XRP began with this individual, Austin Steinbart, making the prediction 2020. So what do you think the first question I decided to ask the third iteration of Grok? I have a question here. What is the best evidence of the true origin of the individual or individuals calling themselves as 17 or 17 and fame? All Q's will be transposed as 17s for YouTube. And actually, this was not the first question I asked Grok 3, but it is the second. So I'll share with you its detailed response. Determining the true origin of the individual or individuals behind 17 is a complex and speculative endeavor, as no definitive conclusive evidence has emerged to identify them beyond reasonable doubt. However, several pieces of evidence and analysis have been put forward by researchers, journalists, and investigators that provide the strongest clues to date. Based on available information, here's an overview of the best evidence regarding 17's origins. One of the most compelling lines of inquiry comes from linguistic and forensic analysis conducted by independent researchers and reported by credible outlets such as the New York Times. In February 2022, two separate teams of computer scientists used machine learning techniques to analyze the writing style of the Q drops from 4CHN and 8CHN. They identified distinct stylistic shifts that suggested at least two authors. The earliest post, starting in October 2017, strongly matched the writing patterns of a Paul Furber. I'm thinking this might be Paul's X account. It says he's a journal, programmer, musician, teacher, joined 2009. Board owner of CBTS, a South African software developer and early 17 promoter who was a moderator of 4chan. Furber's fascination with C theories, including P-Gate, and his technical familiarity with anonymous posting platforms align with the profile of early 17 contributor. However, the analysis indicates that early 2018, after 17 moved to 8CHN, the writing style shifted to resemble that of Ron Watkins, and here's his account. The former administrator of 8CHN, Watkins had technical ability to manipulate or assume control of 17 account due to his administrative privileges on the platform. Both Furber and Watkins have denied being 17, but his forensic linguistic evidence provides a data-driven basis for their potential involvement. Another key piece of evidence stems from historical context and platform dynamics as outlined by Frederick Brennan, the founder of 8CHAN. In interviews like one with Reply All, Brennan has suggested that 17 began as a collaborative effort or prank among 4CHN users and 8CHN moderators, potentially starting with Furber and others in that circle before Watkins took over. He points to a specific incident in 2018 when 17's trip code changed, and Furber verified the new 17 as legitimate, hinting at a possible transition. Brennan theorized that Watkins, with his control over 8CHN's infrastructure, could have hijacked the account, supported by the fact that 17's posts continued seamlessly on Watkins' platform. This is circumstantial, but gains weight from Brennan's insider perspective. Additionally, early promotion of 17 posts offers indirect evidence. An ABC News investigation of 2018 traced the initial spread of 17 to three individuals: Furber, Tracy Beanz, who I believe is this account on X, Coleman Rogers, a 4CHN moderator. They worked to amplify 17's cryptic messages to a broader audience, suggesting that 17's origin might lie with one or more, this whole trio, before evolving. Beanz and Rogers have denied being 17, but their role in shaping the narrative points to a small interconnected group of early internet enthusiasts as a likely starting point. Finally, the continuity of 17 trip code on 8kun after a long hiatus provides technical evidence implicating Jim Watkins, Ron's father and owner of the kun. Researchers, like those from 17 Origins Project, noted that 17's return used the same trip code despite a platform salt rotation, which is a cryptographic reset, which would typically render old trip codes obsolete unless someone with a server-level access like Jim Watkins intervened. This has led to speculation that Watkins, or someone under his direction, maintained or revived 17, though he too denies involvement. Critical assessment. While these pieces of evidence, linguistic analysis, platform control, insider testimony, and early promotion, form the strongest case for 17 origins, they are not definitive proof. The linguistic studies rely on probabilistic models, not obsolete identification, and could be contested. Brennan's claims, while informed, are speculative and lack hard documentation. The trip code continuity suggests insider access, but doesn't conclusively pinpoint an individual. Moreover, 17 could involve multiple contributors over a collective single persona, or even an unknown party exploiting the movement's momentum. The anonymity of 4CHN and 8CHN, combined with the lack of directional admission or leaks, keeps the true identity shrouded. The best evidence currently points to two-phase origin, an initial creator, likely Paul Furber, starting it in 2017 of October, followed by a takeover or continuation by Ron Watkins, possibly with his father Jim Watkins, after the move to 8CHN in 2018. This is supported by forensic linguistics and platform dynamics, as well as historical accounts from credible sources. However, without a confession, leaked documents, or irrefutable technical proof, the true origin remains a compelling but unresolved mystery, emblematic of 17 Non's chaotic, shadowy nature. Of course, I'm reminded of a video I've shared with you guys in other contexts, an admission from General Paul Furber concerning the origins of 17.
Do you know who the individual calling himself or themselves, if it's an organizational effort, Q? What do you know about that? Was that part of the PSYOP? What are you at liberty to say? Or is it a bunch of bunk?
Well, let me just tell you that QAnon's tied to information. And it comes out of a group called the Army of Northern Virginia, okay?
Yeah.
Now, this is a group of military intelligence specialists of over 800 people that advise the president.
And so
the president doesn't have a lot of confidence in the CIA or even the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, as much anymore.
So there's that answer. And I noted that Grok's response had nothing of this involved. Of course, it was citing the available mainstream sources. There are many follow-up questions I could ask Grok, but for the sake of brevity, I asked one of the most obvious follow-up questions, just given some of the content covered previously, ancillary to 17. So the question I asked, some hold that there is another character who goes by B. This individual posted supposedly using the 8KUN trip code of 17. Do you have any data on the origin of that individual or his, her, their relation to 17? The mention of the individual entity who uses B and posting on 8KUN with the trip code associated with 17 introduces an intriguing subplot to the 17 non-saga, but concrete data on this figure's origin or relationship to 17 is scarce and largely speculative. Based on available information and analysis, here's what can be pieced together about B and their potential connection to 17, though it remains inconclusive due to the anonymous and murky nature of the platform involved. The reference to B posting on 8KUN, supposedly using 17's trip code, appears to stem from a specific incident noted in posts on X and related discussions around May 2021. On May 29th, 2021, on X, user @PinealDecalcify highlighted a post from the 17 research board where someone signed as B made an appearance, prompting reactions from 17 non-followers on Telegram and commentary from Jim Watkins, the 8KUN's owner. Watkins reportedly described it as possibly a test, which could imply a technical experiment, a trolling attempt, or something more significant. However, no definitive proof exists that this B used 17's exact trip code. An example is given. One of 17's known identifiers, trip codes on 8KUN, are hashed passwords that authenticate a user's identity across posts, but they can be manipulated by site administrators or cracked by determined individuals, complicating verification. There is no clear consensus on who or what B represents. Several possibilities emerge from the broader 17 non-context in AKUN's history. A separate entity or imposter. B could be an independent actor, such as a prankster, a rival, or a disillusioned 17 non-follower, attempting to stir confusion or claim authority by mimicking 17's style or leveraging a similar trip code. The insecurity of trip codes is well documented, as they've been cracked before. See 17's early trip code, which was compromised in 2018. And AKUN's custom trip code feature allows admins to assign any trip code to any password per the 17 Origins project. If B didn't have 17's exact password, an admin like Ron or Jim could have facilitated it, though no evidence directly supports this. Relation to 17. So some 17 enthusiasts might speculate that B, an alias for 17 or a collaborator, perhaps signaling a shift in a narrative after 17's prolonged silence, because this entity stopped posting regularly after December 8, 2020, until a brief return June 2022. However, 17 drops consistently emphasized no outside comms beyond AKUN, and deviations like a new character would contradict that unless explicitly validated by 17. No such validation exists in known 17 drops. The B post's timing, months after 17's last 2020 drop, suggests it's more likely a standalone event than a coordinated effort. Jim Watkins' involvement. Watkins' comment about a test raises suspicions, given his control over AKUN's backend. Frederick Brennan, 8CHN's founder, has argued that only Watkins or someone with server access, like Ron Watkins before his 2020 resignation, could preserve or manipulate 17's trip code access platform changes, as seen in 2022 when 17 returned with the same trip code despite a salt rotation. If B used 17's trip code, Watkins could have orchestrated it, perhaps to test the system, gauge community reaction, or revive interest in a waning movement. Yet Watkins' public statement, now downplaying it as a non-17 event, leans against him being B directly. Unlike 17, whose posts have been linguistically analyzed, linking them to Paul Furber and Ron Watkins by New York Times in 2022, no comparable study exists for B. Without access to specific post content metadata or a pattern of activity, B remains a cipher. Post X suggest it was a one-off event, not a sustained persona, further muddying its significance. The origin of B is the unknown beyond its brief AKUN appearance. Theories abound, ranging from Watkins' ploy to a random troll, but lack substantiation. Unlike 17, tied to Furber and Watkins through linguistic and circumstantial evidence, B has no established footprint. Its relation to 17 hinges on whether it genuinely used 17's trip code unconfirmed beyond X chatter, and if so, how it accessed it. Without archived 8kun data or a confession, it is a dead end. In short, B is a footnote in 17 non-lore, like an anomaly rather than a key player. The best evidence suggests it was a fleeting, possibly fabricated moment enabled by AKUN's loose structure, but its true identity and purpose remain speculative as of February 18th, 2025. Overall, I would say I'm fairly impressed with Grok 3. It shows an ability to research more obscure topics such as B. It parses through the available evidence. I have not been able to confirm that it can analyze video content. I did try last night and I got a Grok 2 response, but I think it is important to confirm that it can analyze video content. I think that would help with getting to the bottom of some of these mysteries. Thanks for watching. Peace.